Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Business in Digital Summer Wrap-Up. I'm Michael Wilshire, Director of Sales and Operations at Monovan Digital, and I wanted to welcome you today. I hope you're having a great week and looking forward to a great show today. So today we're talking emails and stalking. So welcome again. Thanks for joining us, and let's get into it. Hello. So, welcome to today's episode of Your Business in Digital, the summer wrap up, where we try to give you practical ways to manage different parts of your email marketing, your digital marketing. And we want to make sure that you're seeing that return on your investment. We want to make sure that you're able to say that digital drove you this amount of revenue or that you have this much ROI on your digital efforts. And today we're talking about something that we've all talked about and we get commonly from our clients and prospects, why over emailing feels like stalking and how to avoid it, right? So let's get into it. Before we do that, I'm sorry, I've got to give these call to actions. Definitely connect with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on LinkedIn, or listen to us on your favorite podcast. We'd love if you subscribe to us. We love to give information and resources that you can use and implement in your business to improve that ROI or to optimize what you're already doing. So let's get into our conversation today. So we're talking why over emailing feels like stalking and how to avoid it. And we've all been there. One of the most common questions we get is, how many emails should I send? And the next most common sentiment that's expressed is, I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to feel like I'm intruding. So let's talk about what this is, what it looks like, and of course, how do we avoid it? So the stalking effect, it's sending that unwanted and persistent communication. You're ignoring those boundaries. And what does that look like? And that starts very easily and maybe a lot of the times unintentionally. It's that you've collected that email, say, from a contact us form, and you've already spoken to that person based on that contact form. And maybe that person is not your ideal customer. Maybe you're not the solution that they were looking for, but you continue to send them emails. And maybe they've hit unsubscribe and you haven't had it set up where that unsubscribe stops them from getting emails. So you want to make sure that your content is not unwanted. You're not sending persistent communication. So every day, the person is getting 2, 3 emails from you. And we're really talking in this B2B space, right? And of course, ignoring those boundaries. Now we can go to the next slide. So what does over emailing really look like? It's sending irrelevant content. And we place so much focus on sending relevant content. And what does that mean? Again, where did you get the email? Where did they sign up? So, for example, I just gave an example of signing up for a contact form. But let's say they signed up to download a template of some sort. So they downloaded the template, and the template relates to one specific product. Let's say it's a template for developing your content calendar. But then you start to send emails that are about other things that are not relevant to that content creation. It's not what the person was looking for. There's no value to those constant emails, and they just keep appearing in your inbox, right? So that already starts to set a bad tone. So you want to make sure that you're sending content relevant to where they signed up and what they signed up for. Also, you're giving emails without value. And what does that look like? So I have signed up for my newsletter, right? But I'm sending out my newsletter, and my newsletter, we are a marketing company, but I'm sending things that are not marketing related, does not help my customer solve a problem or move forward to making a choice as using me as a provider. So you want to make sure that you are sending that relevant content. And as much as you hear that term relevant content a lot, that's what relevant content means. Another thing that we tend to do with over emailing is burying the unsubscribe or ignoring those unsubscribe or opt out requests. And what does burying mean? It means that in most email platforms, when you've set it up, it takes some very basic information about your company and it uses this information as an email footer. So a lot of the times your unsubscribe is way down at the bottom. And I've got to scroll a long way to even find it. It's probably very small. So you don't want to do that. You want to give anyone who's not your ideal customer for whatever reason, but has come into your world through email, that opportunity to get out of your email marketing flows, right? So make sure that you're not burying that unsubscribe or ignoring those opt out requests. Now, let's talk about the impact. You are right to be concerned about the impact of over emailing because several things can happen, and these are only a few of them. So, top of the list is, of course, the loss of the potential customer. So, I am not going to respond to you. And as we just talked about burying that unsubscribe, we look at behavior a lot and how do we use our phones. In a lot of cases, it's easier for me to reach you and to look at that email and say block email rather than to scroll all the way down to find where I can unsubscribe. That's always also very damaging to your brand reputation, of course. It's because then that's that word of mouth. Oh, I signed up for this, but I just keep getting emails. Oh my goodness, they are not listening to me. I don't even like how this feels. So that's something you definitely want to avoid. And that's why, you absolutely do not want to be over emailing, but there are ways around it. The other potential that you want to really consider is up to and possible cancellation by your email provider. So, email is governed by a lot of rules and regulations that you must follow. So, if you are in the habit of just uploading lists or buying lists, that's an absolute no. You risk sending, because if you, that damage to brand reputation that I was mentioning, if somebody hits block, if enough people hit block, your email provider is going to contact you and have a conversation with you and ask you, like, hey, what's going on? Where did you get those emails? You can't do this anymore. And if you continue, they'll probably cancel your subscription. So you definitely don't want to be in that space. So now here's what you do want to do when you're doing your email marketing programs. You want to, we can go right over. Let's pick practical ways to avoid it. We are going to look at building trust through email. You are looking for value over volume. As I said, focus on that quality content, create engaging and relevant emails. Now, we hear that a lot, but what does that mean? It means respect where the person came in and provide information relative to where they came in as it represents in their customer journey. Did they come in at a point of looking for a quick solution that they could implement themselves? Are they looking to speak to somebody to find out more information on your products? In that way, you know that you can send them more emails about your services and products. You can tell them ways in which they can find out more. So again, you want to make sure that it's value over volume. It's not the number of emails. That is a perception we have from the e-commerce world of emails, right? Where there's a lot of the times a heavy discount strategy. So it's make sure that there's something that the customer can use, i.e. a discount, at any point in time that they're ready to shop. In the B2B space, that's very different. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on that quality, look at that flow of where they're coming in and what content helps them make a decision to move to the next stage or to understand that this is not for them and get out of this email chain. The next one you want to focus on is provide that, as I said, provide that useful information of exclusive offers or personal recommendation based on where they came in. So let's say, for example, you have a paint company and they've signed up some form, you've gotten their email. You want to provide an exclusive offer, personalized recommendation because they've said, okay, I have a house that I want painted. You want to let them know, listen, we have a service where somebody can come out to you at any point in time. We have a service that, listen, if you do this in the next couple of months before the end of summer, you can actually get a discount on certain paint prices. So you are always going to give them something that helps them move to that next stage or make a decision and lets you know, is this person worth nurturing, or should I just manage them out of my email chain? The next thing is permission and preferences. Now, we are accustomed to, and this is something that we do as well. And when I say we as users, as customers, is that we opt into things, and that tends to be has a general opt-in statement of, you agree to receive marketing, etc., and you click yes. Now, while that is legal coverage and that is absolutely fine, you want to really understand that, listen, they've given consent at this very specific space. They've given consent at this very specific time. So obtain that consent clearly at every stage. If they've gotten into your email by using a download or something else of that nature, you want to immediately send them another email saying, listen, was that download useful? And would you like to continue receiving emails from me? What I send are these things, so that you give them a clear opportunity to say yes or no. And in that way, they have signaled, please talk to me, tell me more. And that's where you're going. You're now moving them from prospect to lead and so on. You're moving them through. Let's go on to the next thing. You want to offer those choices. Now, this is something that many small businesses overlook, but you have that ability to offer your subscribers more choices in their subscription. Are they subscribing to a specific list? Are they subscribing to receive regular updates? Are they subscribing to receive a monthly newsletter, etc.? But you've got to make those preferences, because as we've talked about, the customer journey now today in today's digital world is very complex. And the more times that you offer that customization to your prospects, your prospective customers, it builds that trust, and it builds that I want to receive your emails. That it builds that communication pathway. That's what I'm looking for. You're building that communication pathway where you can say, listen, this is what I can provide you, and I will absolutely want to talk to you, but you let me know how to talk to you, when to talk to you, and I'll follow those rules, and I'll send you what you need to move forward, get your problem solved, and set myself up to be the solution. So going on to the next. Respect that unsubscribe. No, as much as this says promptly, I'm going to change that a little bit. It shouldn't be promptly, it should be regularly. Because you want to, your unsubscribe metric is useful. You don't want to just, they've unsubscribed, get rid of them. It also tells you how well your funnel is working. So maybe your unsubscribes are telling you that it's not that the person is upset that you send them an email. They're just not your right customer. So you want to, from time to time, look at those unsubscribes over time, but then have a regular cycle where you say maybe every quarter, maybe semi-annually, maybe annually, because these all count within your platform. So you want to make sure you're not sending them anything else, anything further. From the time somebody hits unsubscribe, they should receive nothing else. Now, you should also be aware, an unsubscribe does not mean they cannot re-enter your world. So don't feel like, oh my God, they unsubscribed, they don't like me, I did something wrong. That's not the case. You really just want to make sure that you're just giving them an option where their world is busy. We respect your time. We respect your inbox, most importantly. And if you want to unsubscribe, that's fine. Feel free to resubscribe at any point in time. So what do we go to next? We've spoken a lot about basically not stalking, answering that question of how many emails. I don't want to feel like I'm over emailing. We talked about making sure that effective emailing means respecting your audience's boundaries. That's what did they actually subscribe to? Did you get their email because they just did a download? Did you get their email because they filled out a contact you form? Have you spoken to them already? Do they need to be in your marketing email still, or have they moved into the sales funnel directly and are dealing with a sales representative? Sending too many emails harms your brand. It absolutely does harm your brand, and it drives customers away. Take me to the next slide. You want to focus. This is where you really want to focus on gaining permission. Permission is literally, please, I would like you to send me an email. I would like to have content that tells me how to solve my problem or how you help me solve my problem through your product or service. I want to make sure that at every email, it's given that prospective customer something of value that they can either use immediately or puts them in a position to say, listen, this worked, and do you have more? This approach is how you build that trust in email. It's how you keep that engagement. It's how you make sure that your open rates stay high and you're not overwhelming those email contacts. I think that's the last slide, Nia. Just if it is, you could put me big screen. So I know I've kind of gone through that quickly today, but I hope I've touched a nerve where if you are that business owner and you're thinking, listen, I don't want to over email. I don't want to stalk anybody. If you're that business owner where you're like, well, I'm not sure if I'm doing it, these are the points you want to revisit. Where did the person subscribe? Have you given them points at which you've really looked at and said, well, listen, at this point of getting this email, I need them to kind of make a decision on do they want to stay or not? Are you making those unsubscribes readily accessible? Are you using those unsubscribes as a tool? As well, are your automations automatically excluding people based on engagement, lack of click, or they've clicked something that basically says, I'm not interested anymore? Respect those things, and you should see an increase in your open rates, an increase in your click-through rates, and ultimately an increase in leads through your sales funnel. And if so designed, you can have that email working for you, generating revenue continuously, even while you sleep. So I hope these tips were helpful. I'm really glad that you joined us today. I'm Michael Wilshire. I want you to make sure and subscribe to us because very soon we're going to be starting our next season of Your Business in Digital. And as I said, we are here to make sure that digital marketing is working for your business to drive revenue while you sleep, to drive revenue and delight your customers and make sure you're reaching your ideal customer. Subscribe to us. Nia, let me get a call to action before we go. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on LinkedIn, and listen to us everywhere on any podcast that is your preference. We are everywhere. Thanks for joining us. And that's been this week's episode of Your Business in Digital, talking about why email marketing feels like stalking and, more importantly, how to avoid it. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.